Hello and welcome back to my podcast called Faith is Strength. I'm Nochi Mendel, speaking out of Muncie, New York, helping spread the beautiful light of spiritual living across the world. The date of this recording is January 9th of 2019. May my words and the expressions of my soul be gratifying to everyone who hears them. I pray that my ideas help pave a beautiful path in your journey of life. Thank you for tuning in. The title of today's podcast is called A Breath of Fresh Outlook, Part 3. If you didn't already listen to Part 1 and 2, I suggest you go back and listen to those because this is a continuation. It is on the topic of business and being an entrepreneur. I am overjoyed to have you with me today and for giving me the opportunity to share some of my ideas regarding business with you. And with God's love and grace, maybe some of these ideas or outlooks will help you improve your contemplation or business dealings. The 5 steps that we discussed until now were the question if entrepreneurs are born or made. Step 2 was decision. Step 3 was motivation and excelling. Step 4 was outlook. And step 5 was time well spent. Today we're going to talk about step 6, step 7, step 8. Step 6, the next step, is health. Once we have time well spent down pat, we have to address health. Our health, first of all, health is a motivator. If you recall in a previous episode, I discussed motivation. Step 3 was all about motivation and how important it is to structure up a motivational plan. Create a plan for your motivation, for how you plan to be motivated moving forward consistently. Health ties into this because if you work on your health is one of the many motivators in life. It's one of the big ones. People who go to gym, who work out, or who play sports, anything along those lines, are more motivated by default. First of all, it takes motivation to do that, but second of all, anyone who works out knows that it builds upon itself. The endorphins that it releases feels good, and it makes you want more, which is subsequently a certain level of motivation. It is very important that you address health. You need to be strong. You need to eat healthy. You need to feel good. You need to feel agile. You don't want to feel dense and heavy. Good health is a prerequisite for good business. Being unhealthy and subsequently dealing with illnesses and shortcomings too often has a direct impact on business and business dealings. It also has a direct impact on relationships within business, whether it be your partner or a client, a potential customer. People sense it. And if you recall what I said in the last episode or two, business is a different animal. Business doesn't care about your emotions. Business doesn't care about how you're doing. Just like the employee that comes to work with his excuses every other week. I'm sick, my mother passed away, this happened, that happened. We all know those types that anyone who's been in business or been around at least low quality workers, always with an excuse. My grandma's brother-in-law's mother, something happened. In that same sense, scaled up as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, nobody wants your excuses. People expect and want your professionalism every day consistently. The business, the entity called business, your business or your potential business will demand that of you. If you fail it, you're failing at business. You're destroying your business. Business doesn't care how you feel. Business needs you to succeed, and in order for you to succeed, you need to be healthy and strong. In that sense, health is a prerequisite for good business. Being strong, having a strong mind, thinking clearly, not being clouded by the remnants of substances or the partying you did a couple days ago or last night. None of that. There's no place in real business for that. Just like your body needs to be in good physical health in order to live a delightful spiritual life, right? Because your body is the vessel. It is the tool by which your soul experiences, your soul shines and thrives. The consciousness that we have is dependent upon our vessel, at least in this world. So in that sense, in business, in that same light, business requires a good body, good health. If you're struggling with step 3 or you're trying to build a plan for motivation, health is one of the big stuff that should be up there. I would suggest that you should work out physically in gym. Even if you work physically during the day, you should work out in gym or do hardcore sports a minimum of 3-4 times a week, if not every single day. Because of technology and modern times, we have cars, we have phones, we sit behind desks, we're driven everywhere. We don't really walk a lot. We don't really run a lot. We don't move a lot. I really do not move a lot unless I'm playing sports or going to gym and doing cardio or riding my bike, riding my scooter. There's many different things that I've gotten into because I value and care about my health. But if it wasn't for those things, I wouldn't move move a lot. You become heavy. So health, building that into your plan is very important. A minimum of 3 to 6 times a week. And don't just go to gym and lift weights. Weights is great. Build some muscle. Do cardio. A healthy heart is what you need in order to have a killer day at work, in order to make proper decisions in business, with employees, with customers, clients, merchants, people you trade with, people you deal with. A healthy heart, that's what it comes down to. And once you get into a rhythm of working out, being healthy, that may be a huge portion of what fuels you, what keeps you going in business consistently. I don't know if I could stress this enough, but for your own well-being and for your own success, do yourself a favor and think about your health. When shit hits the fan, health will be there to protect you. It'll be there for good decision making if there's ever a time when panic sets in. Health, good cardio reduces stress levels, and to be on an even emotional keel during business hours, business dealings is very, very important. A stressful business owner or a stressful entrepreneur doesn't make sound or good decisions. You don't want to fall into that category, not even once. In business, one bad decision could send you spiraling down. You want to be on your A game every day. Business is a different animal. You're a spiritual person, you're also a business person, or you want to become an entrepreneur, you can't do so without health. You can't even be spiritually healthy without physical health. So whichever way you look at it from, whichever way you approach it from, if you're here for spirituality and faith, do it for yourself, forget about business. If you're here for business, do it for business. Whatever the excuse, do it. Don't think about it, do it. Don't procrastinate about it, do it. Don't wonder, don't plan, just do it. Working out, doing healthy activities, doing sports, these are not things you have to think about, plan for endlessly. These are things that you just have to do. Once you have the physical aspect down pat and you've acknowledged and established that you must have a healthy vessel, a healthy body, and maintain your health in order for good business to happen consistently, we can move to a little bit of a higher level step, which is step 7, and it's determinism. In order to succeed in business or to succeed with any venture that you are approaching, getting into, or are already in, there needs to be a very healthy dose of determinism attached to it. You have to pursue your goals and your dreams like a lion who chases the gazelle. You need to lock on, and nothing should come into your vision or way. It's like a hunt. You're chasing. You need to be determined because there are so many roadblocks. I mean, it feels like an infinite amount of roadblocks that will come your way. You need to be so determined that no matter what comes your way, you will continue to grind. Determinism is one of the handful of single characters that you must possess or mimic in terms of character in order to succeed in business. I really don't think that people who are starting a new business or people who have these big dreams of being a 1%er, a millionaire or a billionaire, have any clue what kind of dedication and determinism it involves to get there. Even if they watch the videos on YouTube and they read the books, they still don't understand what it means until they find themselves years in, halfway, or actually giving up. So I'd like to clarify that. Let's think about this 1% ordeal for a minute, this whole phenomenon, the 1%. There's a reason why they're 1% or less than 1%. For you to carry the fantasy or the dream that you're going to be that 1% is a little unrealistic if you think about it. I mean, do you think you're going to be LeBron James or the next one? It's the same ridiculous to a certain extent. Unless you're an expert basketball player and you're on your way up with all the physical attributes needed in order to be the best basketball player, there's no reason why you should think that you're going to be the next LeBron. Now, think about that in terms of business. You're sitting on your couch dreaming about being a billionaire or a millionaire that's going to have a beautiful house, beautiful cars, and everything else that your heart desires. Vacations, vacation homes, whole 9 yards. Yet, you either know nothing about business, haven't even gotten into business, you can't even reach mediocre success. What makes you think you're going to be 1%? So the only thing you stand on is a dream. And if the only thing you stand on is a dream, then you better possess so much determinism, because that is the only thing that's going to get you there. That and a handful of other steps that I'm describing here. Obviously, you'll need the motivation and you'll need these other steps that I've outlined, but determinism. How else do you plan on getting there? I mean, be logical. Don't be emotional about this. Think clearly. Everybody, and like I said, I watch startups on a weekly basis. I help dozens of companies and young entrepreneurs start their business. Everybody goes into business with a huge smile. A year, 2 or 3 down the road, when they're giving up, that smile is not there anymore. The chayut, the life is sucked out of them. What happened? You think they didn't dream about being the next millionaire? The next 1%er? They dreamt about it just like you and me. Reality hit them. The stumbling blocks, the roadblocks, the struggle, the challenges, the lack of motivation, the lack of health, the lack of brains. So much reality hit them. Business, the reality of business hit them. And if it's within the first couple years, they don't even know what business is yet. Forget about it. You think you know what business is 1, 2, 3 years in? Dream on. You don't even understand the animal that business is until you're in business for 4, 5, 6 years minimum. I'm still learning about the reality of business on a daily basis. I often talk to business owners who have been in business for 10, 20, 30 years, not necessarily entrepreneurs. They don't even understand the animal that business is. They're just there covering their paycheck. They don't want to know. Everybody goes in with the dream. Less than 1% make it. What makes you think you're going to be that less than 1%? Do you have the same hopes about winning the lottery? Do you have the same hopes about being the next great athlete? Be realistic. Be real with yourself. If you have no plan, you have no experience, you have nothing showing that you will actually get there, then all you're relying on is your determinism, your faith, your dreams, your goals. And that's not to be taken lightly. No. I'm a huge fan of all of that. And in fact, I'm sharing this with you because what I'm saying is I'm trying to bring this to your attention in a coherent manner. It's fine. You can rely on these stuff, but be real. If you don't have the heart of a lion that will just continue to grind despite the difficulties, day after day after day, clients not paying you on time, owing money, people running after you, making deals falling through, whatever the business, whatever the industry, just endless headaches. Selling on Amazon, you get a letter from Amazon, your account is blocked, no money for a couple weeks, you will create appeals and try, and whatever the industry, there's just endless amounts of risks and issues and problems and headaches and stress. You wonder why 30 and 40-year-olds have white hair, because they own a business. This is what you're getting into when you talk about getting into business, when you talk about being an entrepreneur. There are ways to navigate all of this. There are ways through it. I'm talking about the underlying character, the underlying persona that needs to come with it, that you need in order to weather these storms. So again, the 1%, I need to stress this more. I'm not hitting the right words. It's not rolling off my tongue correctly. I don't think people appreciate what it means that only 1% or less than 1% make it. We love, everybody dreams. Most businesses close within 1 or 2 years. And from there, the ones that don't close within 5 years. Very few even succeed at business altogether, let alone become a 1%er. Be real. Determinism, I really don't think anyone going into business, and like I said, dozens of businesses. Every year I help start. I work hand in hand with people. I consult with them. I hear about their business. I give some advice. I discuss their plans with them. Nobody is geared. I don't think I've ever really done business with someone who is properly prepared for the amount of motivation and determinism they're going to need in order for their business to succeed. I just haven't seen it yet. And I've already been in business for more than 7 years, 7, 8. I just haven't seen it. This is something that comes with experience. This is something that comes from being an entrepreneur myself, reading, learning, educating, and always being on top of my game. This is not common knowledge. Don't think that every business owner knows this or thinks this. What I'm bringing to light, what I'm putting into words, is a struggle that many may not even know how to put into words. But trust me, anyone who's been in business for long enough knows the struggle. You need to be aware of it. You need to understand what kind of determinism you're going to need in order to succeed. Especially if your whole plan is based off of a dream and you really think you're going to get there, boy oh boy, you need to start getting real determined. Nothing will stop you. If you feel like you have what it takes, you have the determinism to pull through, to become the 1%er, then we're ready to move to step 8, which is patience. Oh, patience. It's a sick balance that you need to find between motivation, the determinism, and all these other stuff that I'm talking about. And now to patience, yes. Just like in spiritual living, it's all about balance. Yin, yang, balance. There needs to be a nice equilibrium across all fronts in your life. Doesn't matter if it's business, relationship, personal life, balance. Religion, extremism, whatever it is, balance. Open-mindedness, balance. Closed-mindedness, balance. Whatever it is, balance. Same here. You need the lion that roars inside of you. And at the same time, you need to balance that with patience. How those two mesh together is a little complicated to explain, but the least I could do is put it out there. You need to find it within yourself to find those balance, because there are times in business when things won't go your way, when things won't go as quick as you want them to. I'll go a step further to say that if you're a young or new entrepreneur or just getting into business and you have this this 3-year plan, 2-year plan, 5-year plan, whatever your vision is. And depending on who you listen to and who motivates you, you'll hear all kinds of varying approaches to visions and planning and all that stuff. I'm not getting into any of that stuff because, different strokes for different folks. That's all I can say. Different things work for different people. That's fine. But whatever your plan is, whatever your vision is going into business, especially if you're starting a small business, you must acknowledge that the success that you might find, if you are blessed, work hard enough, and are lucky, will very likely take much longer and so many more years than you imagine. For example, if you get into business, a typical business, maybe a service business, and you think to yourself, within 5 years you want to be grossing $5 million. The company should gross $5 million year 5. Reality might come to show you that it'll take you 15 years to reach that number. Now, obviously, it depends on the industry, it depends on you, it depends on a million things. But what I'm trying to point out, reality in business is usually a little bit or a lot removed from goals and dreams and timelines. Hence, patience. You need to have so much patience to balance, think about this, to balance your determinism that it's almost ironic. A minute ago, we're talking about how much determinism you need. And when you build up a healthy dose of determinism backed by a healthy body, motivation, you become an animal. Now, to take a step back and counter that with immense patience is one of the hardest things to do. How many people do you know have a nice equilibrium between the two? The lion that roars inside of them, the go-getter, the determinism, and then the patience. Not many. It's not common. Balance is an ingredient of spiritual living. That's the beauty of carrying over the lessons we learn in spiritual living to other aspects in life, like business. You will need so much patience if you actually plan on making it there, if you plan on being the 1%er, or if you plan on building your business huge. Nothing can prepare you for this other than just knowing about it. Just by knowing about it, you're not going to automatically have patience. This is a character that needs to be worked on for years to really acquire. This is a trait. This is a trait that many never reach, but you'll see once you're in business, or if you are already in business, that it needs to be worked on. And just keep it in mind. Let it resonate. Let it sink into the subconscious. At times, determinism will get you through. At times, immense patience will get you through. And all of this, all of these tools, these steps, is to lead us back to one point more than anything: never giving up. These are tools. Determinism is a tool to never give up. Patience is a tool to never give up. And if you remember, I talked about never giving up in the beginning. It's number one. But you see how these things work in full circle. Because if you never give up, you will make it. But just saying, oh, don't give up, makes it so cheap, so invaluable. It makes it sound like it's so easy. You're going to find out that just that little quote, don't give up, that cute quote that everybody throws out there, you're going to find that it is the most difficult thing to do, to adhere to. Giving up is precisely what most people do. Giving up is what almost every business owner who struggles thinks about, contemplates. Let me just go get a job for $100,000 a year, put me on a salary, I don't have to deal with business, clients, yet nothing. I just do my job, I go home. And for many, this is a great alternative. Let me tell you something. You will have a lot less stress in life if you go that route. But if you're determined, you cannot give up. And boy, will you be tested. This is where the true colors of a person comes out. This is one of those areas where I think personally the born entrepreneur will do a little bit better by default, because it is within their natural character to have these tools, and therefore they'll pull through. And the unborn entrepreneur, unless they're exceptionally determined and disciplined, will fall through the cracks. I've seen it time and time again. I'm not making this up because it'll make me feel better. I see this almost every couple months in business. People starting ventures, they don't really have the mental prowess, they don't have the faculties to deal with these things on their, let alone deal. Forget about deal, I'm talking about understand. You think dealing business is hard? Forget about dealing. Let's talk about comprehension of business-related phenomena. Let's talk about communication, being able to properly communicate with team members, partners, clients. Oh, the world of business is complex beyond description. And I see time and time again, the wrong people get into it. Not even a couple months in, they lose heart. They never had the lion in them to begin with. They shouldn't have gotten into it. They shouldn't have wasted their money. They should have stayed working for someone. It's not their purpose in life, as we said. It's not everyone's purpose to be a business owner. It's not everyone's purpose to be an entrepreneur. This is part of spiritual living. What is your purpose in life? What is your mission? What are you here for? If we have the balance between determinism and patience settled into our mind, we can move to the next step. And although I said I was only going to go till step 8, I am going to move to step 9. And this is actually the final step because number 10 is a summary. And I'll leave that for part 4, sorry. I will conclude with step 9 is the realization or paradigm shift to understand that rich people are not bad. Oddly enough, this is an actual step. We have to talk about this phenomenon and actually work on ourselves to change our outlook. It is very common coming from poor or mediocre families and upbringings to have this outlook that rich people are bad. Factually, they are not. And if you carry this outlook, if you hold true to it, you are not ready to be wealthy. Rich people are not bad. Rich people have a different outlook than you. They've already gone through all the trial and error. They've gone through everything I discussed from the beginning of this mini-series until now. They've went through that. They made it. That's the difference between them and you. They understand something that only experience and actually making it helps you understand. That's not to say that every rich person is good or, we can't make generalizations or none of that. There are bad rich people, there are bad poor people, but I'm talking about in general. Having this incorrect outlook, running with it, is actually detrimental to you if you have goals or dreams to be wealthy yourself. Rich people went through the various stages and came to learn things that you don't yet understand. And therefore they operate, think, and live their life differently than you. You must shift into a rich man's outlook if you wish to be wealthy yourself. There is no other way. In fact, according to disciplines such as The Secret, you will be contradicting yourself if you look towards a certain life, but you are living in contradiction. One of my favorite lines out of The Secret is, don't allow your actions to contradict your intentions. Your actions cannot contradict your intentions. If they do, then of course you will not receive what you are intending to receive. By looking at rich people with a negative eye, or thinking that they're bad, or stingy, or you don't like blah blah blah, but on the flip of a dime you are also wanting to become as wealthy as them, then you are violating exactly this. Your actions are contradicting your intentions. In that sense, we must shift into rich man's mentality. Stop thinking like a poor person. The way you think, coming from poor or mediocre family, is poor. It's poor person mentality. By stopping to judge rich people by their standards, you will be opening up the door and allowing yourself to get on their level. Rich people have different standards than poor people. That has nothing to do with good or bad. That is a standard. Your standard is much higher for someone who lives overseas in the desert in a hut on straw. That's just a fact. It's relative, and it's not something that you understand because you were never rich. And the poor person or the guy living in the hut doesn't understand you because they were never that high on the spectrum. By following all the steps that I've already mentioned up until this point, and then by going the extra mile, shifting your outlook, aligning yourself not to contradict your intentions, and living on the proper frequency, it will turn you into a success instantly. And this is what I talked about in the beginning. What is success? I am success. Live and breathe affirmations. There should be no separation. Don't look for success. Become success. And the monetary gain that you so seek will follow. Live in endless contradictions, and it will not. Rich people aren't bad. Stop thinking like a poor person. Stop judging rich people for their standards, and start shifting and adapting into rich person mentality, if you so desire to be there. With that, I will conclude the 9th step. I will say this. Business is an animal, as you already heard me say multiple times. It can beat you down or it can build you up. You can either grab it by its neck or let its noose choke you to death. The choice is yours. You control your destiny. Talk to Hashem. Talk to your one loving God. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what you desire. And then align yourself with your own feelings and desires. And own it. Don't try to travel this journey on your own. Rabbi Nathan of Breslov, Rabbi Nachman's #1 disciple, says, Wherever I saw deficiency, there was either no prayer or a lack of prayer. In spirituality, we believe that nothing great comes without prayer attached to it. Prayer is like this beautiful symphony, beautiful decoration to everything that we manifest and everything that is created in this universe. Don't try to trek this journey on your own, because business will suck you up. Business has the power to drain you out. And any life that you thought you had going in could potentially be ruined and used up. Do yourself a favor, and if you're choosing to pursue and to continue to pursue, walk that journey with God. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, God bless you.